Can the artist's way really take me from burnt out author to bold creative in just 12 weeks? Join me week by week as I navigate my way out of the creative void. When it's being good, it's actually costing you more than just being authentic. Hi everyone, this is Erica Deary and welcome to week 5 of Doing the Artist's Way. And this week, we are recovering our sense of possibility. That sounds so exciting, doesn't it? So in the first part of the chapter, Julia talks about how sometimes we are able to finally tune into that divine energy, but sometimes we discount that this is actually working and that there are powers that are actually moving behind the scenes. And we need to remember that God is our spiritual bank, so to speak. God has infinite everything, infinite money, infinite wisdom, infinite everything, and it's not like he's going to run out. So ask my friend, ask, and I should be given, and ask big. Ask for big things. Julia clarified here that this is not like you're going to pray and then boom, your wish is your command. Like God is not like, or source is not a genie that is just gonna give you all your dreams like immediately, because I mean then where would the fun be in that, right? Like if you just got everything so quickly and so fast, you would not have to be in a journey of growth and learning, as painful as that sometimes might be. The chapter also invites us to reflect on the fact that because God or Source has an infinite wisdom and there's infinite of everything, that we no longer have to live in scarcity thinking. Sometimes this scarcity thinking makes us believe and put a lot of, put all our hopes and dreams into one thing, right? Into maybe one dream job, into one book deal, into a person, into another human. Maybe if you're a writer or if you're an artist, a book deal, a painting exhibition, whatever that is. And we put so much pressure on that thing that it's almost like it becomes idolatry. And as we become more trustful of this divine energy, this flow, we are going to give away that idolatry, and we will be able to focus on really having that nourishing relationship with the source. This is going to allow us to actually flow. And if you were raised Catholic, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The whole idolatry versus God situation, you will understand it. But if that part doesn't resonate with you, maybe you can twist it a little bit to give it a focus of creating and of creating art. I remember when I was younger and I had ideas for like a drawing or a picture or a book or something like that. I genuinely used to believe that that was going to be the only idea I was going to have and that I was not going to get any other better ideas. And then one time I remembered that that creative well is completely infinite, and it's like, oh, I just open a tab. But the more you produce, the more you lean into doing a little bit more art, the more this is going to be, it's like a snowball, right? Like the more you do art, the more you'll be able to come up with bigger and better and bolder ideas. At least this is how I interpret it. But how do we land this flow thing, right? So what I told you about last week about me thinking that something was a synchronicity, but then it wasn't. I honestly still don't know how to answer that question. But Julia gives us a little bit of a glimpse of a possible answer. And here, what she says is that you ask the question in the evening and then you answer it in the morning. So for example, is this job the right job for me? Or should I apply for this job? Or should I send this manuscript to publisher A or publisher B? I say send it to both. But if you're grappling with it like questions like that, make the question in the night and then go to sleep. And then allow your subconscious to ruminate on it whilst you're sleeping. And then as soon as you wake up, that thing is still going to be in your mind and you can write it down. And as you write it down in the morning pages, the response is going to reveal itself. Now, in week 5, and the title being Recovering a Sense of Possibility, something that this chapter mentions is that we are going to start moving from seeing things, and instead of saying, no way, to saying, oh, maybe I could do it. Maybe if before you'd say, I would never do karaoke, or maybe I would never do a Latin dance class. Maybe this week you'll be like, oh, maybe I will do it. Maybe I will try something different. And that movement from no way to maybe is such a big step because it's going to open yourself to a lot more possibilities. And the more, like this whole exercise, this whole 12-week program, is for you to do things that you are not comfortable with. And that mere fact of taking you away from your comfort zone, like going in an artist state by yourself, and by doing these things that are difficult, your own brain is going to be like, oh, I'm confident. I've done this before. I put myself in an uncomfortable position, and now I'm able, like, and nothing happened. I didn't die. So I'm able to continue to maybe make that phone call, maybe try that class, maybe ask, hey, do you have spots for painting? Julia also gives the example of when we are not 100% connected to God or to Source, that sometimes we're going to feel I guess, the rush to actually go and do something. And this happens to me a lot. She equates it to like, you feel the need to like shake a few trees, but then it's like wanting to shake a tree and then expecting apples, but you get actually oranges when you wanted apples. And I think this is exactly what happened to me last week, right? I had said to myself, I am not going to get this job by applying for it. I want to be tapped in the shoulder. But then, because the rules of my work is that you have to apply for it, I ended up applying and I ended up not getting it. Now, I don't know if I'll just get it magically like that, but I feel like, for example, the job I have now, when I started where I'm working, I was just tapped in the shoulder and I just went to an interview and I got it. Like, it wasn't like something that I looked for, it just happened. So I think it's, if you're like me and you are I don't want to say like I'm a doer, but as an adult you have to solve a lot of problems, and sometimes you don't have the patience to do nothing and wait. And I think this is a lesson that I'm learning as I'm telling you, that sometimes it's just about letting the universe do its thing, because we want it very quickly, right? Like I said last week, some people just manifest pizza very quickly, but if you have a big dream, sometimes a lot of things need to move out in the space, in the ether, so that you are actually able to meet the right people. But what Julie says is you need to take the next delightful step. Very similar to what Abraham Hicks say, to what Bashar says. A lot of like, do the thing that is going to give you the most satisfaction and that is going to make you happier. And you're like, Erica, how am I going to do this if I have to work, 40 hours a week? Do that in your job. Maybe you have activity A and activity B, and if they both have the same timeline, or both don't have a timeline, do the one that makes you happier. And it's really funny because when I saw the example of the apples and orange tree, I always make a joke with a friend. Like, I feel sometimes like I'm just this little witch trying to cast a spell, and instead of getting the prince or the money or the airplane, I get like, Bern, and then she sold Bern like a little cartoon. But I think this is what it is. It's just that listening to that delightful voice. And look, we live in the real world. We're not always going to be able to do that. Like, as much as I would prefer to create, sometimes I see my house and I'm like, dude, I have to clean because it's more stressful for me. So whatever your being tells you, just listen to that, and that should be able to do it. And she gives an example of someone who had an agent, and the agent was really mean to her. And then she finally fired this agent. And then the next day, a friend of the husband, something like that, they actually said, hey, I spoke to, I told them about you. And they said, if you're ever looking for an agent, to call her. And now she's working with this new agent. I really want those type of serendipities to happen to me. And I feel like it's probably like I'm doing something wrong, which is just trying to do like work for it. And this is probably why I'm a little bit hesitant to start like creating something new, because I want this to be like an undeniable sign that okay, I have idea A, idea B, and idea C. I want this massive sign so that the universe, God, tells me, yeah, do idea A or idea B, whatever it is. I just really want a very undeniable sign. Okay, so now to respond to the question, what if being good is actually costing you more than being authentic? Well, Julia here mentions that sometimes artists, we just want to be perceived as good, or we just really genuinely want to be good. And sometimes that means that you have to put aside your willing to do art and to start doing art, um, because you have to do the things that make you good. Maybe you're volunteering at a school. Maybe you're volunteering to be in a fundraising committee of the school. Maybe you're volunteering to organize a Christmas party at work because you're trying to be nice. It's okay for you to say no to those things that are not that important, but that are actually taking away time and effort and mental energy from you to do your art. Yeah, finally, this chapter had a lot of very juicy exercises as always. One was writing 20 things um, that you wish happened in your life. And you have to write them as quickly as possible. So she literally lists, I wish, I wish, I wish. And then you have to write them down. And whoa, I just wrote like with a lot of anger because I think I was a little bit mad at God about like this whole you're like dangling this carrot in front of me and then you take it away kind of thing. Uh, but maybe I shouldn't have even reached for it. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. And then there was another exercise that was a perfect synchronicity because you had to write 5 grievances that you have with God. I filled out very long pages. I know she gave us a sentence, but I filled out like I think more than the morning pages of that day. It's time for the check-in. How many days this week did you do your morning pages? Are you starting to like them at all? How was the experience for you? Have you discovered the page and a half truth point yet? Many of us find that pay dirt in our writing occurs after a page and a half of vamping. Okay, I actually don't know if I found that like page and a half turn point, but I find that I just like wake up and write. It's almost like it's automatic and I don't really have to think too much about it. But what I've noticed though is when I don't know what to write, I just start writing affirmations. So I feel like it's more like, yeah, just do it and get it over with. I don't think I have discovered any big light bulb moments about myself, but I think it's just helped me like process some things much better. Did you do your artist date this week? Have you had the experience of hearing answers during the leisure time? What did you do for your date? How did it feel? Have you taken an artist date yet that really felt adventurous? Okay, my friends, so I haven't told you about how I went in the artist date. So I'm just taking 5 minutes out of my day to kind of getting you up to speed. So we went to the Mexican Independence Day flag racing in Fed Square. It was really good. It was just nice to see friendly faces, familiar faces, listen to music in Spanish. So after the whole flag racing ceremony, yeah, people started playing music and dancing, and yeah, it was really good. I didn't feel like dancing, so my mom and so I took my mom this time to my artist date. So we just went to the art shop, and yeah, I bought my charcoals and I got other pastels, more like kind of like brownish tones. I still don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I'll just figure it out later. And yeah, it was a great day. Then after that, we went to St. Paul's Cathedral. And yeah, I have to say, look, you can say a lot of things about the Catholic Church, but we can do architecture. That building is amazing. I haven't been since, I guess, 2007 when I arrived in Australia, fresh off the plane and doing all the touristy things. So it was really good to like remembering how, the mosaic, the glass windows, like all the architecture, the very high ceilings, beautiful
the stone. I don't know. I just think it's so amazing, and I was also like surprised and pleased to see how they basically had this sign saying that they apologize for all the wrong things that the Catholic Church has done, I guess, in the recent years. And I guess it's a step in the right direction. It's not going to fix everything, but it's a good step, I think. Like somebody thought of this in their brain, right? Like somebody thought of this big building to make it for God. And then they came up with this amazing building, which is a piece of art. Anyway, that was my artist date. And now let's go to the check-in. Did you experience any synchronicity this week? What was it? So, not to be honest, no synchronicities, but definitely I feel like I'm in a better state of flow. I don't know, probably not ruminating anxiety thoughts a lot. I guess as much as before I started the program. Okay, and then last but not least, were there any other issues this week that you would consider significant for your recovery? Describe them. I don't know if this is an issue, but I do find myself getting a little bit better in setting boundaries, like things at work and things like that, where I no longer feel like I'm not just gonna say no just out of nothing, but I do feel like I'm able to express my voice a lot better. Usually at night I just turn on the computer and I try to edit this video or like try to kind of do something in the computer. And yesterday I was very deliberate to not turning on the computer. And yeah, I started drawing a little picture of Max, and I was very happy, with my new charcoals, and I was very happy how it turned out. Although it doesn't look like the picture, but I feel like I made like an angry Max. And I think just like exploring this new medium has, I don't know, made me, happy to just be scribbling something without really giving it the weight of this has to like be transcendent. It's just more like, yeah, like I'm drawing, but then at the same time, I've also been getting a lot of ideas of like things and stories that I want to write. I think I'm ready to start writing something again. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Got a couple of ideas, but I'm just trusting the process and trusting the infinite well of creativity that I have.
This week, I truly felt that I moved from no way to maybe. How about you? Do you feel that sense of possibility yet? Thank you for watching, and if you want to get the book, you can find it in the link in the description. Remember, I get a small commission at no extra cost to you. See you next week, because next week we will be recovering our sense of abundance.
To remember that God is literally this infinite, what was that?